Today, we're diving into the incredible story of Josephine P. Campbell, a woman who, after losing everything, found a new purpose in Hoseon, Korea. All right, this is the mission history for the second week of November, as told by Pastor James Huang. And our story? Well, it begins not in the bustling cities of Joseon, but all the way over on the quiet plains of Texas, with a woman whose life was about to be completely redefined by unimaginable hardship. You know, before Josephine Campbell became this historical figure in Korea, she was a wife and a mom. But her world was just completely shattered by one tragedy after another. So let's talk about how she built a new life from those ashes. So she builds this life that seems just perfect, right? It's centered around her family, her faith. But that happiness, it was just tragically short-lived. And when you look at the timeline of her early life, it's just heartbreaking. She gets married in 1874, starts a family, but then just 6 years later, her husband dies so suddenly. And then, in just the cruelest turn of events, both of her children pass away too. Can you imagine? In such a short time, her entire family was gone.
So that brings us to this really fundamental question, right? When you're faced with that kind of complete, devastating loss, what do you do? Where do you even find the strength to go on? For Josephine Campbell, the answer she found wouldn't just change her own life, but it would change the lives of so many people an entire ocean away.
She made a choice. She chose to turn all of that pain into a force for good. Instead of just giving in to her grief, she saw it as a calling from God. She decided right then and there to dedicate the rest of her life to helping others. She was going to become a missionary. Okay, so with this brand new purpose, Campbell sets off on a journey that would literally take her to the other side of the planet. And this wasn't just about getting on a boat. It was a total rededication of her life, a huge leap of faith into a world she knew almost nothing about. And listen, this wasn't some impulsive thing. She prepared for it. She studied nursing, she studied theology, and then she officially volunteered. Her very first assignment back in 1886 sent her to China. That's where she got her start. But after working in China for over a decade, her mission board came to her with a new assignment. And this was the one that would define everything. Her new destination? The Kingdom of Joseon, modern-day Korea. This place was about to become the heart and soul of her life's work. And there it is. On October 9th, 1897, she lands at the port of Campbell. And this was a big deal. She made history as the very first female missionary sent to Korea by the Methodist Church. She was actually met by Yoon Shi-ho, who was a really well-known Korean intellectual at the time. Her new life had truly begun. Now, Campbell didn't exactly choose the easy route. A lot of other missionaries were working in more established areas, but she was different. She was determined to go somewhere new, to serve a community that pretty much everyone else had overlooked. Yeah, this really shows you what a big choice this was. You had the other missions all centered around existing places, like hospitals. But Campbell, she picked a place called Goga-Namagol, basically an undeveloped new frontier within the city, a place where she could build her own ministry from the ground up. So why was this area untouched? Well, Goga-Namagol was seen as undesirable, an unclean neighborhood even. It was where the royal eunuchs lived, a group that was really on the margins of society. And because of that stigma, other missionaries had just steered clear. But Campbell, she didn't see a stigma. She saw a need. An opportunity to serve the forgotten. It's right here, in this forgotten neighborhood, that Campbell would build her greatest legacy. She saw this urgent, pressing need for women's education in a society that just didn't provide it. And she decided she was going to build a school that would change the future for generations of Korean girls. And man, she moved fast. By October of 1898, just 1 year after she got there, she'd already founded the Carolina HakDang. It was named after the churches back in South Carolina that sponsored her. It eventually got a beautiful new name, BaeHwa, and by 1909, it was officially recognized as the BaeHwa Girls' School. And that name, BaeHwa, it's just so perfect. Yoon Shi-ho gave it that name, and it means a place of learning to beautifully cultivate women and let them bloom like flowers. How beautiful is that? It just perfectly captured the whole mission of the school, to nurture the potential inside every single young woman and help her flourish. Campbell served as the school's very first principal for 14 years. And during that time, it saw incredible growth.
She oversaw the construction of a memorial chapel, which then, get this, became the origin point for 2 local churches. So her influence just spread out from the school walls and right into the heart of the community.
Her work really was her life, and she was committed to it right up until the very end. This last part of her story is it's a powerful testament to her incredible dedication. So in 1918, she went back to the US for what was supposed to be a year of rest. But you know what? Her heart was still in Korea. She came right back in 1919 and threw herself back into her work, serving with a passion that never, ever faded, even as her own health was starting to decline. Tragically, that tireless devotion, it took its toll. She got sick from overwork and passed away in a hospital on November 12, 1920. She died right there, in the land she had come to call her own. These words, etched on her tombstone in Seoul, they just say it all. I dedicated my life to Chosun, so it is only right that I die in Chosun. Wow, what a powerful statement of a life given completely to a people and a place she truly loved as her own. And the story of Josephine Campbell is one of so many that are being preserved and shared by Pastor James Wong. You know, he actually served as a missionary in China himself. Now he ministers in Maryland, in the U.S., and he spends his time studying Korean mission history. He shares these incredible stories every week from his book, which is called Remember and Repay, 52 Weeks of Mission Meditation. It's his way of making sure that the legacies of people like Josephine Campbell, people who gave everything to a cause so much bigger than themselves, are never, ever forgotten.